Good afternoon.
Graham, how was your international break?
It was very, very good, thank you. Yeah, really good. Bit of everything in the break. Obviously, a bit of a time to reset and a time to rest and recover, and for the boys to see a bit of the family, and then to use the time productively to try to, improve and get it better as you'd expect.
You had perhaps half the squad with you, so you could work on some good stuff, could you?
Yeah, we did. We had a decent number. I mean, probably I would say we had a bit more than half away, with a couple of niggles and injuries, etc., etc. But we had, a decent number always, pretty much, and we can use them under 23s. It's a nice time to integrate the 23s with us as well, get to know them a bit more. So yeah, we did. I would have to say, as in terms of international breaks, from a training perspective, it's probably the best that we've had since I've been here. So I was really positive.
And how about the guys coming back? Have they? I mean, a couple of them like Leo and Jakob seem to perform exceptionally well overseas. Are they coming back brimming with confidence and fully fit? Yeah,
it's the first day we've seen them today, and obviously they've. I think, like you say, they've had a really good time away. McAllister as well, played for Argentina twice. Moises played, but he's still in Ecuador. He's ill, so he's flying back later. He'll miss the game. Jeremy was involved as well. So if all the guys have had a pretty positive. Enoch had some time on the pitch as well, which was important for him. Eve's played, and like you said, the guys contributed to their national teams, which is brilliant for us.
Are there any other injuries, absences, or indeed people coming back?
No, well, Adam Webb's had a small setback before the international break, so he's still unavailable for the weekend. He's not too far away, but not available for the weekend. And Adam Lallana has been training, not quite fully, but close to fully. And because of the situation with Adam, we're thinking to be more fully training next week. So again, he'll miss the game.
And how about your opponents? They've been in a bit of a wretched run as well. How dangerous an opponent are they going to be the weekend?
Well, every team, regardless of the league position, regardless of what's happened previously, has the capacity to win games in the Premier League. That's why the competition is the best in the world, and it's why it's so tough. So we don't underestimate anybody. I think the focus for us is on ourselves and trying to perform as well as we can, and put on a good performance and a good show in front of our supporters. We always respect our opponent, but we need to focus on ourselves and try to produce a performance that is closer to what we know we can do.
That'll do me. Very best of luck the weekend, Graham.
Thank you.
Graham, let's start with the big talking point today. 5 substitutes in the Premier League. The vote is today. How did Brighton vote, and what do you sort of think about this change and tweaking in the law, which could obviously really change the dynamic of games?
Well, I mean, our position has always been in favour of it, so there'll be no reason for us to change that, I don't think. I think it does change it a little bit. I must admit, when we had it first in sort of post-lockdown, it was. I quite enjoyed it as a coach. Gives you a few more options, a bit of a dynamic off the bench. I think it's a tricky one to do halfway through the season for different reasons. But I think if everybody agrees, or the majority agree, or enough agree for the rule to go through, then I think it could be an exciting addition to what is already a fantastic competition, I think.
Ralph Hasenhüttl said this morning it was a game changer for him in terms of tactically being able to affect matches. Does it feel that way for you, and the ability to perhaps mean that you've got players on the bench that all know they can be involved? They're not just 3 substitutes, and you can be more adventurous with what you want to do to change things?
Well, if you just think on a human level, at the moment we have a squad of 20 plus players, and only 11 play and only 3 can get on the pitch, all of a sudden you add another couple on there, it just brings a bit more hope and a bit more opportunity to everyone, which makes my life a little bit easier. I'm not saying it's the complete solution. It makes it a little bit easier because more people by definition can get on the pitch. Not necessarily that they will, but it's at least you've got an option. And like anything, yeah, there's an opportunity, but there's also I don't think it guarantees you anything necessarily. You've still got to use them right. The players have still got to perform when they go on, and you've still got to make the right choices. But it's certainly an opportunity. It makes it a bit more to do with the coaches. Previously, once you made your 3 subs, you know that it's in the there's less for you to do. So I think it's an exciting thing.
Could be quite exciting for you as well. Just say you want to change the front 3. Knowing you've still got 2 substitutes in your back pocket, you could completely change the dynamic of a game. Yeah,
but so can the opponent. So it's not just, if it was just for us, then I'd be fine. I'd be really in favour of it. But it's the same for everybody, and then you know that there's challenges on the other from the other team. But as I said, I'm going to repeat. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for a coach to be able to make more substitutions, for players to have more time on the pitch, and then the challenge will be how well we use it.
Shane Duffy described this game as probably one of the most dangerous games you'll have because Norwich is positioned within the Premier League, because they're fighting for their lives. Did you see that very much the case as well, that the expectation when you play a team in the bottom 3 will be you pick up 3 points and get back to winning ways, but actually this could be a dangerous match for you?
I understand what he's saying, and I think we're old enough and experienced enough in this Premier League to know that whoever you play, it's a dangerous game. It's because they've earned the right to be here. By definition, that means they've got some really good players. Well-coached team in terms of with somebody of Dean's experience. So whatever the external expectations are, whatever they are, you can't really control that. As a team, I think we're quite humble. I think we're quite respectful of the opponent always. So I don't see it as necessarily dangerous. I think it's just a game that you can lose. It's the reality. That's the reality of the competition. So for us, it's about, having known that and having accepted that, how do we go about winning and how do we go about being ourselves, performing well? And as I said in the previous answer, it's about focusing on our performance, being aggressive, getting the crowd behind us, trying to perform like we know we can.
And one other thing Shane said in my final question, he said this environment at the moment in the training ground, with the players coming back from international duty, the ones that have had success and qualified for the World Cup. Shane's obviously been a part of a successful couple of friendlies as well. He says the culture, the atmosphere, the buzz is positive. It doesn't feel like a side that's lost their last 6 games. It feels like there's an energy about this place, and that's partly thanks to the culture you've created. What does that mean to you, knowing that the influence you're having on the players and that there is still this positive vibe around despite recent results?
I think it says a lot about the boys, the players. We try to be honest, and I think we are, in terms of we know we're in a bit of a run that is not nice, that has caused us some suffering and some pain. And if you asked us whether we'd want to win and something different, of course we would. But you have to face it. You have to be honest with that. Analyse why, analyse what's happened. But there's been no throwing people under the bus. There's been no pointing the blame. There's a collective, we can do a bit better here, including myself, more than anybody. So then it's about trying to find the solutions and trying to work together. And I think, win or lose, we've always been relatively consistent with how we've acted. But at the same time, we know we want to try and turn it around. We're here to win. We're here to win in front of our supporters. We know we haven't done as well as we'd like at home, so we want to try and change that. The boys are honest. They give everything all the time. It's just, wins in this league are tough.
Thank you.
Graham, is Alexis okay? He looked like he took quite a nasty whacky on international duty. What's the sort of form with him?
I haven't had a full update from the medical about him, but I think no problems. I think it was more a contact. But yeah, it didn't look the best, and I think he came off quite quickly after that. But there's been nothing severely flagged to me, so it's just a case of, I think it's just a knock, and he's quite durable. He's Alexis, robust.
Some really positive performance from some of your players on international duty. For someone like Jakob Modder, what could qualifying for a World Cup mean for a young player? How inspirational could that be, and how could that translate maybe into domestic form as well?
I think it's fantastic for him, isn't it? I mean, you can imagine for him, for Moises, for Alexis, the guys are going to be involved at a fantastic tournament. I've seen it before with players that they Ken Seamer was one, I think, in Sweden, was going along, and then he had an international experience, went along to I think it was the Olympics, came back. You experience different things, different players. You can just take a step as a person, I think, because you have this outside of your own little bubble. Sometimes we get caught up in the Premier League bubble and Brighton Hove Albion bubble, and it's nice to go outside sometimes and get a different experience and maybe give yourself a chance to reflect on things and grow as a person. And I think that's the great thing about it. We've got some young guys that are going to experience that as they go on more and more. So we look at it as an opportunity for them to learn and to develop, which is great news for us.
And Leo as well involved with goals, and to give him a little bit more confidence, perhaps. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I think you can't do anything about when the international breaks come, and you've just got to make the best of them. Sometimes you want to carry on playing, and sometimes you have to go, it's probably come at a good time. And I think the last one came at a good time for us, if we're honest. And then it's about how you use it. We can't do anything about the internationals, but they've all had good experiences, I think. And like I said, the guys that are here, they work really, really well. It was the best training week we've had in terms of international break. So there's a feeling that we're looking forward to the game. It doesn't mean anything in terms of, doesn't guarantee you anything, should I say, but it's got a meaning in terms of at least how you're going into the game from a mentality perspective.
And what are the key ingredients in terms of the performance on Saturday that you want from your team in terms of style of play, how they play? Yeah,
I mean, obviously I don't want to go too specific, Johnny, because that helps the opponent, but I think it's not rocket science. I think we have to attack better. So that's been something we've thought about and spoken about. So without giving too much away, I think that's probably the focus for us. At the same time, know that you have to do the defensive work. You have to be resolute in those areas, because you're playing against a Premier League side.
0-0 in the corresponding game at Carrow Road. New manager now. How different is their style of play under Dean Smith?
Yeah, I would say they've made, like always, slight adjustments, and yeah, they've suffered in terms of results. I think the performances, there's been aspects that I would imagine Dean's been really positive about, but the Premier League can hurt you when you're not at your best, and sometimes if you're the team that's coming up and going down, you can get caught in that. But again, rather than worry too much about what the opponent's done recently or where they are in the league or any of that stuff, I think it's about us and about focusing on what we can do, make sure our mentality's right, make sure our performance levels are right, and that will give us the best chance to win.